Welcome to this month's edition of OSU Extension Monthly. I have Ashley Ming, our 4-H educator, is here with me today, and we're going to talk about one of my favorite things to do, something that brings back a lot of childhood memories, and that is going on a picnic. Do you like picnics?
I love picnics. We haven't done it in quite some time, but I'm looking forward to this summer because we got places to go now. So
places to go and things to do, right?
Yep.
Well, on a really beautiful summer day, it's a great time to have a picnic outdoor at the park. You like to go to the park?
Oh, I love it, yes.
Yeah. Or even in your own backyard. You know, sometimes we think we have to go somewhere to do a picnic, but you can do it in your own backyard. But today we're going to talk about how to keep that picnic safe, because there are some things that could happen that would really ruin that picnic experience. I remember as a child growing up, and we would go on picnics to Lake Eufaula, but my most favorite memory of a picnic was when we had a pond on some land that we owned and ran cattle on, and we went down to, we called it the lake. It was a huge pond, and we called it a lake. And we went down, and there had been an old house there. Mm-hmm. And the chimney part was still there, so we used that as our fire pit. You know, cool. Nowadays everybody's got to have a fancy fire pit, but we used that. And I'll never forget, we fished and cooked our fish, and we had fried potatoes.
Ooh.
And I don't remember how old I was at that time, but I still to this day remember that picnic and how good the fish tasted, how good those fried potatoes tasted, and how the steps that my mom took to make sure that we didn't get an illness from eating that. I can't promise you that we won't have ants and bugs at our picnic. They usually come to visit, don't they? Yeah. But I can bet you, and I can promise you that you won't have food poisoning if you follow certain steps. So what we do what we can to keep those ants and bugs away. But again, you know, we just have to hope for the best that they don't come. Hopefully we don't have any show up here at our picnic today. That would be kind of sad, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But sometimes unwanted guests that arrive that are not bugs. Well, I guess they're kind of bugs, but you know, like salmonella or listeria, mm-hmm. You know, some of those types of things. And we can prevent those types of things. We're going to talk today about how we can do that. So, the first thing we have to do, of course, is plan ahead.
Right.
You know, if we're going to do anything and do it well, we got to plan ahead, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, we don't want to forget these essential ingredients or equipment that we need for a picnic. So, what are some things that you think you need to pack for a picnic, Ashley?
Plates, napkins, silverware, cups.
We've got all of that, so we're good. What else do we need?
Well, depending on how you do it, if you take a grill or if you bring firewood for your fire, you got to cook your food.
Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that we really have to take are some ice chests.
Yes.
Actually, we recommend 2 ice chests, one for your food and one for your beverages. That way you prevent some cross-contamination. And cross-contamination is what happens whenever we get foodborne illnesses. And then, of course, you always want to, and I know I don't have it here with our picnic today, is some paper towels.
Yeah.
You know, you got to have some paper towels. You also probably should pack some bags for putting your leftovers in. Mm-hmm. Because once I tear open this package of hot dogs here, now it has resealable, but half the time I mess that up, and so I would need a bag to put my leftovers in whenever we're done cooking. You definitely want clean utensils.
Oh yeah.
You know, a lot of times we grill and we don't get our utensils as clean as we need to, and that can be a cause for concern. So make sure that your utensils are really, really good. You also want to have food thermometers.
Really?
You know, a lot of people don't think about taking their thermometers on the picnic with them. But, you know, when I was growing up, we really did look at meat and say, oh, it's done. But a lot of times, what people did when I was growing up was they made sure that they overcooked or really cooked their food. And you don't have to always burn it.
Yeah.
To make it taste good or to be safe from it. So you also have to realize that when you take frozen food, like my little hot dogs here, they are frozen. Yeah. And if I wanted to cook them right away, I would need to realize that it would take about 50% more time to cook that hot dog than it would if it was thawed. And so if I throw frozen meat patty on the grill or fire or whatever, then it's not going to get done as quickly as if it were in the raw state. So you never want to partially cook your meat or partially cook poultry before you take it on a picnic, because that can be very risky. So you always want to either fully cook it or wait till you get there to cook it. So, and I bet you do that, don't you?
Yep.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah. Well, we need to make sure we do it every time, because it is risky, and you know, we don't want a picnic where we don't enjoy the aftermath.
Right.
And so you want to be sure that when you are cooking your meat at the picnic, that you cook it to the internal temperature that needs to be, and that's where thermometers come into good play. These are both meat thermometers that I have here. This one's really small, and I like it a lot for like when cooking hamburgers. Because, you know, a hamburger patty, and I have a fake one here, but a hamburger patty, you need to check the temperature of it. Mm-hmm. Because hamburger meat has a higher risk than does whole cuts of meat like a steak or a roast or anything, because as the meat is ground,
creates more surface area.
That's right. So a lot of people think you take this thermometer and stick it in the meat like this, and that is incorrect. The best way to find out the temperature of your actual meat patty is to insert it from the side. You will get a better reading, a more accurate reading, and you'll have your burger cooked the way it needs to be, so that you don't have to wear. You know, with hamburger patties, our concern is E. coli.
Right.
And so I knew a little boy one time who had eaten some hamburger out, and it wasn't on a picnic though, but anyway, he got very, very ill, and it took him several weeks to recover from that. So it's really, you know, foodborne illness is a really, really serious business, especially for people who are pregnant, for young children, and for our elderly. And of course, if you go on a family picnic, you may very possibly have all three of those situations. So you want to make sure that you cook that meat. And using a thermometer is what will help you to make sure that the meat is cooked the way you want it to. Okay, another suggestion is that you only take the amount of food that you think you will eat, instead of lots and lots of food. I know sometimes I overplan in that department, and that's the purpose of a second ice chest, so I can put that food in there, because there is a time limit that we can keep our food out. And we need to make sure that we keep food cool and cold if they're supposed to be cold, and if they're supposed to be hot, that you keep them hot. Okay, to save everyone from food poisoning, plan to only take the amount of food that you will eat. Especially that is true if you're going away from home, because when you're away from home, you're going to leave that food out on the table longer. I know a lot of people say, oh, I've left food out and it didn't bother me. You know, I didn't have any problems. I don't know why we need to make a big deal about that. What do you think of that, Ashley?
They'll say that until they get sick.
That is true. That is exactly true. If they've ever had a case of food poisoning, they'll never want to do that again. So, you know, a lot of things that people like to take to picnics are creamy salads, like tuna salad or chicken salad or ham salad or something like that. Definitely need to keep them in the coolers and out no longer than, you know, the rule is that if it's creamy, custardy, or really basically any food, if it's out, if the temperature is over 90 degrees, then it should only be sitting out for about an hour. If its temperature is cooler than that, then the rule is that you can leave it out for 2 hours.
So with us being in the hundreds the past couple of days in the future,
we probably shouldn't be leaving our picnic food out any longer than 1 hour. You know, one of the things I talk about putting it in our ice chest whenever we have the 2 ice chests. The purpose for that really is that you won't open the chest that has the perishable food in it as often as you might open the one that would have our beverages in it and things. So definitely 2 coolers is better than 1. But, you know, some people don't have 2 coolers, and you just need to be sure that you don't open the lid any more often than what you have to. You know, when we talk about those foods that I was just talking about, like tuna salad and all of those, they have like a commercial mayo in them. And people often think that mayonnaise is, that if you leave it out too long, that's what causes food poisoning. What do you think about that?
that's what I think. It's just kind of one of those,
You know, actually what they say is that it's not the mayonnaise itself that does that. Typically, it's more the food itself rather than the mayonnaise.
Really?
Yes. Because mayonnaise is made with acid, you know, like a vinegar or lemon juice, that tends to prevent bacterial growth.
Really?
Yes, that is true. So again, generally it's not your mayonnaise that is really the problem on a picnic. It really is the meat products that you're putting the mayonnaise in. Now that does not mean, of course, that you just leave your mayonnaise sitting out on the table forever either, because yes, it could cause problems. But typically it is not the mayonnaise that causes the foodborne illnesses in picnic food. So I thought, you know, that just came out from the USDA about a year ago, and so really some interesting research there, because all of my life I've heard, as you just stated,
too. You can't, if you eat your mayonnaise, if it's mayonnaise is sitting out, don't eat it.
Right, that's true. So, and again, plan your menu if you don't have a cooler to include food that does not have to be refrigerated. So that would be things like fruit and nuts, some cheeses, some hard cheeses, not soft cheeses, hard cheeses, canned meat.
Spam.
Spam, yes, that's right. Peanut butter, crackers, you know, the things that doesn't require refrigeration. So, and that can be just as great of a picnic as planning chicken and pie and all the potato chips and all the things that we have here for our picnic. Again, as I said, you have to keep hot food hot and cold food cold. You know, one of the things that you do is that you don't put your ice chest in the trunk of your car, because that's so hot, much more hot than the interior of your car. So to help keep your food and your ice from melting so fast, put your ice chest inside of the car where they will have some cool air. Cold food needs to be stored at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or lower.
Or lower?
And that will help prevent bacterial growth. And hot food needs to be above 140 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, this particular ice chest that's here, actually is one that you can plug into your charger thing or your
I gotcha.
the thing in your vehicle, and it will run. It runs, so you can have a hot air or you can have cool air. So this particular model and type of ice chest is beneficial in terms of whatever food you want to take. You can keep it cold and keep it hot. Of course, the secret is you have to make sure you plug the right polarities together, because if you don't, it'll be like the last time I carried some watermelons in my ice chest and I wanted them cold, and I got it plugged in incorrectly. So when I got to my destination, I had hot watermelon, which I did not appreciate at all. So
No.
you got to make sure you get, if you have one like that, it's really important that you keep it plugged in and working correctly so that you can keep your cold food cold and your hot food hot. Well, now you've arrived to your picnic. The very first thing we need to do is to wash our hands. Clean our hands, just like in your kitchen. I bet before you cook, you always wash your hands.
Yep.
We learned that, we know that, and if you've ever washed your hands and watched the dirty water fall off of it, you know that it's important that we wash our hands. We get a lot of bacteria and viruses and stuff in our bodies from dirty hands, and hand washing is so important. And really it is just the key thing to food safety. If there is no running water where you go for your picnic, you can use some moist towelette, or you can use even like some hand sanitizer here. When my parents and I went on picnics, we always carried a jug of water with us and some towels to wash our hands with. So that's very key right there to preventing food poisoning while you're on your picnic. Where do you put your cooler whenever you go to a picnic, Ashley? Do you stick it in the shade, or do you just leave it out in the sunshine?
Try to find as much shade as you can.
That's right. And it's also kind of important. I have a quilt here. Take a quilt with you and cover up your ice chest. That helps to keep the temperature at the temperature you need it to be. Back to cooking and talking about temperature, you want to make sure that you cook your food to the proper temperature. And so if it's ground meat, except for poultry, now poultry, it has to be cooked to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. And so patties, chicken breast, chicken patties, hamburger patties, those types of things should be cooked to about 165 degrees. So remember again that 1 hour rule if it's over 90, and 2 hours if it's under 90. You know, a thing that I learned that I didn't know one time or didn't really think about, take a platter out with hamburger patties on it and give it to my husband, and he would put them on the grill and cook them and what have you. And then I would leave the platter there. Well, he would put the hamburger patties back on the platter. You know where I'm going with this, don't you?
Yep.
It's kind of a sad situation because that raw watery juice on there could contain some bacteria. So you really do want to make sure that you use a clean platter after you take your meat out, bring it in, and either wash it or get a different platter put your cooked meat on. The real danger is before, after, and during a picnic is what we call cross-contamination. And cross-contamination is it's where bacteria is transferred from food to something else. And if you have it on your cutting board, on your utensil, if they're not handled properly and kept clean, then you're going to find that you can transfer bacteria that can cause you some problem. One contaminant that really likes to visit picnics is called Listeria. Now, Listeria is it's a dangerous bacteria, and it can grow even at refrigerated temperatures. So you want to be very careful. It's one of the deadliest foodborne illnesses that we have out there. It's commonly found in ready-to-eat foods.
Yep, and canned products.
Well, and things like soft ripened cheese or Mexican-style cheese that tastes so good, they can be a problem. Brie, feta cheese, I'll say it right here in a minute, feta cheese, or ricotta and raw vegetables can cause problems. And of course your ham salad, your chicken salad, those types of salads that we pick up from a deli. Speaking of deli meat and hot dogs can cause listeria if they're not handled properly. You know, I've been guilty of this, but you know, we really should never ever eat a raw hot dog out of the package. Hot dogs should always be cooked. You're smiling.
Yep,
I have a feeling you've done that as well.
You're hungry, you want a hot dog right then and there.
Well, and yeah, but really and truly, we shouldn't be eating raw hot dogs. They should be cooked. And also, the juice that's in the package, when you open it up, if you get that on your hand, you should also always wash your hand before you handle something else, because hot dog juice can be a problem. Okay. Also, with the hot dogs, you need to refrigerate them and put them on ice within 2 hours. Pretty much the same rule as any other food, okay? But with the hot dogs, if you want to eat them, you need to reheat them to 165 degrees before you eat them again.
Really? So you can't just put a hot dog, have a cooked hot dog, put it in that fridge, then come back and just put it on a bun and have a cold hot dog sandwich?
They do not recommend that. That can be problematic. So you really should heat that hot dog back up. So,
guess I'm going to change how I eat my hot dogs later.
Well, I hope that you're saying you're learning something today, and I hope others that are in our viewing audience are learning some things today too. And of course, leftover hot dogs should be eaten within 3 to 4 days after you put them in the refrigerator. And I know that, oh yeah, they can look good in there for longer, but you're running a risk if you do that. You know that picnics are very popular in the summertime, but actually the month of July is considered National Picnic Month. So all during the month of July, we'll be celebrating with picnics. And if you haven't done a picnic in a long time, let me encourage you. It's great family relationship building time, bonding time, and it's really a lot of fun. Yeah, you got to put up with the ants and the flies and those types of things, but do take some precautions and get rid of those things so that you can enjoy your picnic. If you have any questions about food safety or other food related topics, be sure and contact us here at the Texas County OSU Extension Office at 301 North Main here in Guyman, and you can call us at 338-7300, and we will have more information on how to keep your food safe. And I hopefully, as you've listened today to this program, you realize that there are a lot of little things that you need to know to prevent your family from getting food poisoning. As we are completing this program here today, I'd like to bring you up to date to some things that are going on here in the OSU Extension Office. Ashley has some things that she's doing. Tell us about your Workshop Wednesdays.
Yep, I'm doing Workshop Wednesday, where every Wednesday we have a different workshop. Our main focus this summer is entomology. We received a grant, and we are trying to introduce that into the community, so some of our members will be interested in having an insect collection.
Oh, well, and if they come, they're going to learn about those bugs that come to our picnic, and how maybe we could determine that they are good bugs or bad bugs.
And then if you find a nice pretty one while you're at your picnic, you can get it and learn how to display it.
Oh, wow. And that actually is an exhibit for the county fair, isn't it?
Yep.
So if you're interested in learning more about bugs, come on Wednesdays from 1 to 4
Yep.
every Wednesday this summer.
Every other Wednesday is the entomology. Then we have other workshops every other Wednesday. So
Okay.
we alternate.
So you've got other types of workshops, such as
We have a drone workshop. We have a poster and display workshop, how to set up presentations and different ones like
you
that.
said a drone workshop. That kind of interests me. What do you think that's going to be about, or what?
We have our old 4-H president, Stephen Behringer, is coming down, and he is going to show and teach members on how to operate drones and the possibilities that they bring.
You know, there's a lot of legal issues out there about drones these days that kind of scary when you think about it, but then it's really neat to see what all they can do. One of the things that I'm doing this summer, I've started a cookbook club. We meet on a monthly basis, and what we do is we get together and we look at a cookbook just like a book club, and we talk about recipes and things that we know and don't know, and help other people learn. But as we look into the cookbook, we select recipes, and then next month they will bring the recipe that they selected to serve to the group. The group is taking off. We've had double the enrollment for our second meeting, so I'm very pleased about that. Our next one is on July the 18th. At 5:30 we will meet here at the OSU Extension office, and if you can believe it, we're going on a picnic. So everything that we make for that evening will be a picnic food.
Oh, fun.
And it's really something that you haven't made before. So I'm going to make some frozen coleslaw, and we'll see how that's going to turn out. I think it's going to be really tasty. I'm really excited about that. We have a little short program at our cookbook club meeting last month. We made crepes on crepe makers, and that was a new experience for all of us, and we really enjoyed that. So if you like cookbooks, you like to look at cookbooks, you like to cook, and you like to talk to other people about your cooking experiences, then this club is definitely for you. It's open to any age. There is no membership fee. The food that you bring to the next meeting is your membership cost. So if you're interested, let us know here at the OSU Extension office, and we'll get you signed up for that. And have a great summer. Bye.